Hello and welcome, it's Pete here and it's all about the Great British Summertime. It's all about the picnic, and believe it or not, food aside, everything you see in front of you has been made using some of the wonderful Sizzix products. We're going to use framelits, we're going to use embossing folders, we're going to be using our scoring board and trimmer, and of course Sizzix card and paper. This was so much fun to do. It really was. It came together so quickly. And imagine doing something so personal and bespoke. And don't think about picnics necessarily. It could be the celebration of an engagement. It could be a baby shower. It could be something around a wedding, a party, anniversary. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to create, Sizzix is there for you. So let's get going. Right, we're going to start off making one of these lovely, neat little boxes. Now, we've never made anything like this before using the scoring board and trimmer. And if you want to find out more about this wonderful tool, then there are umpteen different videos. If you go to the scoring board and trimmer hub, you'll see how to get the best out of it. But if you notice, these are different sizes and they're different depths, but the truth is they were all made from the same size card, which was 28 by 28, or if you work in imperial measurements, about 11 inches by 11 inches. So you can change the depth of these boxes, and that in turn changes the size. So it makes them, if you want deeper size, it makes the box slightly smaller, depending on what you're going for. Now, today, I'm going to make a slightly smaller box because I want to work with this silver cardstock. The reason I'm using the silver is because it shows up much, much better on camera when I'm making the creases and talking about that. So for no other reason, but I'm going to cut it down first. So now it's 21 by 21 centimeters. Don't worry too much about the dimensions because you'll change the dimensions depending on what kind of box you want to make. So I'm taking out my Sizzix fold and form, which sits in that neat little pocket there. And I'm going to put this into crease mode. Now here, this is what we call trimming mode, so we can use our trimmer. Then when I swing this around to there, it's now in crease mode. And you can see it's all in centimeters. However, if I want to change it to imperial, it's very, very easy to do. With the measuring tool, I just flip that over. Now you're in inches. With the board, I just slide it out, and there we are. Suddenly, we flip from centimeters to inches. It really is that quick. So let's pop this back over again. So I'm going to work in centimeters today, and I'm going to score this. I want to go half and half. So those are going to be guidelines. So let's go 10.5 centimeters by 10.5. Now I'm going to be using these guidelines in a second. And let's bring this across. Now we call this envelope mode. So when we're making envelopes, this is how we have it. And I've got it set at 45 degrees. And on this dial, you'll see different settings. So notice there's a line which says score by here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see where this crease is, and that lines up with where it says score. And I'm going to bring my tool down like so. Just flip it around, and again, we're going to score all the way around. Now, this is where the depth of the box makes a difference. Once I've done this, this is the starting point for wherever I want to go. Okay, so that's all scored, that's ready to go. Now, if I move to there, I'll have very shallow sides. There, I'll have deeper sides. But of course, as the sides get deeper, the center of the box gets smaller. So that's something to bear in mind. I'm going to move this to about, I think about 24 centimeters. So the corner of my square is at the 24 centimeter point. And again, I'm going up to score. Then I'll flip that around again. put it at 24 centimeters and score. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and that's how we keep this even. 24 centimeters and score, and then one more. Last but not least. So there we have it. That's kept it nice and even. You can see all those score lines there. Now, next thing I need to do is I need to cut out these triangles here. And if you go down to, if you look below the description of the video, there will be a section which says more, and that will tell you all about how to make this box. There will be an illustration there. It won't have dimensions on it, but it will give you guidance on how to create this box. It's something where you have to find out kind of for yourself. So I'm just cutting these sections out up to there. So I'm just scoring up to that line. And then when I turn it round, again, lining up the crease line with the channel like that. And one more time, lining up that crease line. So there you have it. So as we go around, you see it starts to cut out these quarters, and you're going to end up with something like this. That's what happens when you've gone all the way around, and that creates the base of your box. Then all it leaves you to do is make the scores. And of course you have the fold and form. So if you want really deep creases, this is absolutely the way to go. So of course, I started off with quite a small box, 21 by 21. As I said, 28 by 28 is about the largest that you can do on the scoring board, which is quite ample actually. And then we'll just keep going along those score lines and see how crisp this makes those creases. It really does. So now these middle bits, now you could cut them as tabs, or you could fold them back on themselves like this, because it does form a V in the center. So see how that folds into the box. That's another thing that you can do. It's a different way of doing it. You're not cutting it as a tab, which is what we'd normally do, but it's really effective. And it's probably a little bit quicker as well. Then once you have them all there, simply fold those two into the center, these two over the top, and it forms your wonderful box, which of course, when it opens, boom, it opens completely flat like that. Now, you will notice with these, of course, they have this lovely band around them, which has been embossed using a wonderful lace Eileen Hull embossing folder. And I'm going to show you that next, but I need to bring in my switch machine. So this is the embossing folder I'm talking about. It's an A5 folder. It's a lovely size, and it contains such a rich depth of detail and variety as well. And it's a gorgeous lace pattern, but this, as you saw at the beginning of the video, we used throughout, and that's something that gives it that continuity of design. I've got 3 strips of card. I'm going to use a slightly different technique as well, but when we emboss using card, always spritz slightly with water. As always, that allows the fibers to stretch, and it gives you a really gorgeous deep emboss. And I'm using my switch today, so let's switch it on. But you only need 1 cutting plate and your base platform. And of course, as always, the instructions are all written there on the platform for you, so there's absolutely no guesswork involved. Now, we'll run that through. The switch, of course, gives a lovely, lovely deep emboss, but some folks like to run it through twice. I do myself, so when it gets to the other end, I simply press the reverse button and back it comes. So there we are. Let's have a look what we've got here. So that's 3 beautiful embossed strips of card, which can go around the baguettes, it can go around the trim on the box. Sometimes you might need something, say, a little longer. Well, that's fine. We can do that. We can do that. So if I take, so this is A4, it's cut down, it's a 3 centimeter strip, but of course it's nearly 12 inches long if you're working in imperial, or 297 if you're working in metric. So I'm just going to partially emboss this. And then when it's done, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to pop it back in, and I'm going to emboss the section which wasn't covered. So that comes through this side. I simply pop it out, place it roughly on the edge like that. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate, because that's not what we're trying to achieve today. It's more about a look, it's about a feel, it's about a vibe. But there we have it. So that's a strip, 297 mil, almost 12 inches. Wow, how about that? Embossed from end to end. That's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So let's just take my machine out for a second. And we'll bring back the box. So the absolute best way to get this to stay together, because what you want to do with something like this is you want to be able to slide these bands away so that you can open that box up. So you'd simply wrap this around, you join it at either end like that, and that makes a gorgeous, gorgeous band which you can just slip off the edge of the box when you're done. And incidentally, if you want to make your own labels, if you want to create, so you can create this using your PC, you can print to the size you want, always bearing in mind the size of framelit die that you're going to use. These are the framelit circles. To get the outside of them, I've used the scallop circles. So we would die cut 1, die cut 2, put them together and add them to whatever it is. This one is for one of the cookies, could be for one of the sandwiches, doesn't really matter. Could be mixed antipasti. Who am I to say? Whatever you decide you're going to have on your picnic, you can personalize this, you can make it completely bespoke. So the next one, it's really quite simple, but incredibly effective. We've got these lovely little wallets made from grease-proof paper, relatively clear grease-proof paper containing our cookies. Now, whether you buy the cookies or whether you create your own, that's entirely up to you. But we're going to show you how to make the little wallet using our fabulous scoring board and trimmer. So the first thing I'm going to do is just fold this in half. Now, of course, I have measured my cookie, and that's something you have to do. So there's no point me telling you about sizes and so on and so forth. Suffice to say that this is designed to fit the cookie that I'm using. Now we'll take our fold and form tool out of its little channel and we'll bring this into scoring mode. Now I'm going to go 2 centimeters and then flip that around, and another 2 centimeters, and then finally on the top I'm going to repeat, I'm going to get another 2 centimeters. So I just fold these edges over. Now it creates a pocket, and what I like to use, I love this tiny attacher from Tim Holtz. It's a wee little stapler, and sometimes it's just perfect for the job at hand. So of course you get a lovely, lovely crease because of the fold and form and the scoring board and trimmer. And that's it. That's your pocket. And we'll just take our cookie and slip that in from the top and fold it over neatly. There we are, because we've already made the crease. So I'll just hold that in place for a second, because remember these that we just made? I'm going to fold that in two, and that's going to create my band. Now I'm going to reach down, grab a pair of scissors and just snip at about 30 degrees. Doesn't really matter. And pop that over there like that before adding another staple. And then finally, remember we just looked at this one now. I've got some 3D foam on the back of there. We've die cut the phrase. We've put this, it's a kind of a, well, I actually cut it. It's from the Sizzix Opulence. It's from the gold collection. And this is like the pearlized gold. It has a lovely finish, but it's quite subtle. So we used that for the background. And again, we bring it in with everything we do. So whether it's the sandwich, whether it's one of these lovely bags, keeping that together, keeping the emboss, keeping the brown of the packaging, keeping the scalloped gold trim, keeping it all together is what makes it personal, what makes it bespoke, and what makes it special. Next up, it would not be a picnic without the great British sandwich. And one of the greatest British sandwiches surely is roast beef. Now, what I've done, obviously, I have to measure the dimensions of my bread and the thickness of the sandwich. That dictates the size of the box or half box that we are going to create. So this is 13 centimeters, it's 4 centimeters deep, and it is 7 centimeters high. So those are my dimensions. And I'm going to use silver cardstock again because it shows up so much clearer than the brown cardstock. I mean, brown cardstock's fine, but for you guys to be able to see it on camera, this is what works best. So I've got it in trimming mode, and I've got 7 by 4 by 7. That is the width of my box. So 2 7s are 14 and 4 is 18. So that's it. We're getting this in place, and we're going to make our cut at 18. And then, of course, the width of the box is 13. So it's going to be 13 plus 7 plus 7 for the depth. So that is 27 centimeters. So we make sure we got that in place and we trim that. This is what we call our stock size. So now let's go back into scoring mode. Now, as all the sides are 7 centimeters, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 7 and 7 and 7 and finally 7. So you see the depth here, or the center of the box is exactly right. That's where I want it to be. Now let's make our cuts, because we want to use the side as tabs. So I'll bring this crease line and I will cut to that point, and then we'll move that around and again make sure that crease line is in the cutting channel, and make 1 and come down from the top and 2. And it's that simple. That's it. It's ready to go. So all you need to do now is make your folds. You can, of course, use your fold and form to get a much deeper, cleaner, crisper crease. There we are. And finally, one more time. So now, when this goes together, the sides go in, that comes up, and there's your sandwich box ready to go. Now, of course, we talked about the trim, didn't we? And what I did, I took 2 pieces of trim and I attached them together with just a little bit of hot glue. And then that goes all the way around, front and back, until we get something like this. And of course, roast beef sandwich, could be ham and mustard, could be whatever you want it to be, but you can print off whatever you want. You can make it unique, you can make it bespoke. This is about your picnic, your family celebration. It's entirely up to you. We just provide you with the tools to get the job done. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I had a lot of fun. Oh, the smells of this lovely food is arresting my senses. And you may be watching this at any time, any place, but I filmed this at lunchtime. I filmed it purposely. So now I'm done. Steve and I behind the camera, we're going to go away and we're going to reap the benefits of this wonderful Sizzix picnic. See you again soon.